Good morning and happy Thanksgiving. I wanted to create a video to help you understand your next project in infant and toddler education and care. So I wanted to get it done today because I hope to enjoy shopping tomorrow with my daughter and feasting later on today. So anyway, let's get started and take a look at the classroom design project. So I'm on Blackboard and I'm at the home page. I'm going to go over first of all to the weekly modules and scroll down. I think we're now on week 11 to 12. And you'll read an overview that tells you about the classroom design project. There's a picture and everything is written here. I'll invite you to read that later. But what I wanted to point out was the revised calendar. So let's go over that first, and then we will dive deep into the assignment. I decided to revise the calendar, and the changes I made are in the orange blocks, particularly the white letters are what you need to pay attention to. I decided to switch the classes so that I'll be in Bridgewater on the 28th, and the reason for that is I need to do course evaluations. I also think that doing 16 drafts long distance via the televised system will be very difficult. So I will be in Bridgewater on November 28th, and I will be at Yarmouth for the last class on the 12th. In our last class on Halloween, actually, wow, it's been a while since I've seen you, we discussed using Flipgrid for presentations. My sense as I talked to students in the class was that you liked Flipgrid. So rather than doing in-class presentations on the 12th, I'm asking that you submit your classroom design presentation to Flipgrid, and I'll be explaining that in a few minutes. So you'll do that by Monday the 10th so that we can view them in class on the 12th, and we'll do some activities around that. So this is the revised calendar. I'm going to put a link to this when I post the announcement saying that I created this video. So you can look for that. So I will close out of the revised calendar, which is in the week 11 to 12 folder on Blackboard under weekly modules. Now I'm going to go to course project assignment folder in the left menu. We've done these three, so it's time to do the last. The first thing you should open is the explanation of the assignment. So let's open that and take a peek. So you're going to describe in words and pictures an ideal classroom for either a group of 7 infants or a group of 9 toddlers. You will decide if you would prefer to create an infant classroom or a toddler classroom. I'm not going to read the assignment to you. I did give you a resource that you can select, and this will tell you just some basics of classroom design. I also provided you with a resource from Community Playthings at our last face-to-face meeting, and again I would invite you to use that as a wonderful resource. So you're going to do this classroom design. At the end you're going to present your project in the form of a poster, trifold board, or possibly PowerPoint, and we will decide, and we already did, that it's going to be Flipgrid. So you're going to include a floor plan, a daily schedule, and a weekly plan. So when we meet on the 28th in Bridgewater, you will bring a draft of the floor plan, a schedule draft, a weekly plan draft. By December 12th, a final of the schedule and the weekly plan is due. Your presentation will be due on the 10th as per the revised calendar we just went over. So, what am I looking for when we meet on Wednesday, November 28th? A floor plan. Some students use a computer program. I know that Community Playthings has one available, as do other like Discount School Supply have these types of planners available on their websites. And again, I invite you to look at those and learn how to use it. Another very acceptable way to do it is to just draw it out. The more details you give me in the draft, the more feedback that I can provide you. And this is perfectly okay to bring on the 28th to class for me to take a peek at. And those of you in Yarmouth, you could take a picture of this and upload it to Blackboard so that I can take a look at yours and do a conference of your drafts while we're in class on the 28th. This is a more acceptable way to present it at the final presentation, as we'll see in a minute. So I'm going down. Here's a sample daily schedule. It has the times, the activity, what the explanation is, and then my comments. This was an acceptable one, not target level. So there was enough stuff here for it to be acceptable, but it did not receive full points when I did grading. Here is a target level weekly plan. They are two different things. Some people call the weekly plan their curriculum. You're going to list the learning centers on one side, and you want to address it at least once a week. This person put something in every day. You wouldn't have to do that. You could put in for 3 days, if that makes sense, or 2 days. But you want to list the name of the learning experience you would offer and how it's addressed. She put the guidelines over here. So this is physical and well-being number 9, physical and well-being number 26. So I could look those up and see how they were addressed here. Again, this student filled in every block. It's not necessarily needed, and the learning guidelines are listed here. You can either list them here or here. As most of you know, I'm not looking for it done in one right way. There are many, many right ways to do this assignment. Don't get hung up on necessarily how it is, because you're going to do a draft. I'll tell you if what you did is okay or not okay. So this again still is that weekly plan. Now we're going to talk about the presentation. And here we were going to talk about it on the 15th, but I'm talking about it in the video. Here are some photos of presentation panels. These are all really good ones. This is the floor plan. This student was able to find a computer-generated one. I'm not positive on the website. Notice that she has her schedule listed as well as the weekly plan, and some of the items she included in the Interest Center are listed on these cards. When she explained it to me, she said, in the book corner I have, and then told me what was in the book corner. In the blocks I have, and told me that. In dramatic play, I would include this. I laid out my room this way so that we would have a quiet area here, a noisy area here, a messy area here. So that is basically what I'm looking for when you do the presentation. Here's another. This is the same student. You can just see the full board here. This is another one that is a toddler room. Again, the schedule, the weekly plan. This student did something that I thought was very good. She used Kaplan as the school supply vendor, and she listed everything she would purchase for the room. That way I knew exactly what was in each of the interest areas as they were explained here. So again, you're explaining the interest areas as you go. The rubric is listed here. So when you come on the 28th, you're going to have a draft. You'll get more points if it's complete than if it's partial, but come with something, please. If you're wondering what I'm looking for, read the rubric. Look at the target level on the rubric. What I'd like you to pay particular attention to is when you design your interest center, the books need to have at least 12 appropriate infant toddler books. Topics should include people of varying races, ages, abilities, something about animals, and something about familiar objects and familiar routines. That book areas are set up for toddlers to use independently. Here's a list of things you would be looking for, I'm looking for in your presentation and on your drafts to include in the fine motor area, and whatever you call that, please be creative. Active physical play needs to include these things. Arts should include this. Safety, you need to consider that as well. When I'm looking at the schedule, here's what I'm looking for. Weekly plan should include this. And the presentation, I'm looking for your oral presentation as well as how well you put together the poster. So that's the assignment in a nutshell. There are pictures here for you to look at. I'm not going to go through each one, as some of them are there. This is what the student brought to class as a draft. I was able to provide feedback with this. So again, this is very acceptable as a draft. And then go through each of the pictures. Examples of past presentations are here. And it's a PowerPoint. So you can go through and view the PowerPoint at your leisure. I think I'm going to open it quickly here. Again, I went through and there are a lot more examples here. And I hope that you find it helpful. This is a PowerPoint option. A student created the PowerPoint and then put it onto a poster. These were pictures from the PowerPoint and what they had in each area. So again, another option. Close that. Close this. Here is where you're going to submit your floor plan, schedule, and weekly plan. And you need to do this before class on Wednesday. So make sure you have those done. They can be photos if you draw out your draft of the floor plan. Your schedule and weekly plan should be documents. Here's where you'll submit the final. And presenting using the Flipgrid is here. The explanation is explained. And when you're ready to record, you will go here, log in with either Google or Microsoft, your preference. I use Google, so I'll sign in. And now, woo! I didn't mean to do that. As you can see, I'm recording this and I am still in my pajamas. I guess it's Thanksgiving and I'm allowed to do that. All right, I'm going to close out of here. If you watched it this far, you deserve that shock of the day. Alrighty, well, I hope I've explained this clearly. I look forward to seeing you on the 28th. Have a safe, happy, healthy holiday. I wish you peace.